are Geekcentric, and you can be too. Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast, and welcome to our special Behind the Geeks episode for Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3. My name is Justin, and if you're joining us for the first time, well, we are Geekcentric, a podcast covering the world of movies, TV shows, toys, collectibles, gaming, and all things geek-centric. Joining me for today's interviews is one of my fellow batches. You might know her if you've been following our Bad Batch series, our watch clubs, as CT018, but you can call her Brushstroke. Megan Chambers, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited to introduce for our listeners who we had the chance to talk from Star Wars: The Bad Batch Season 3. This time around, there are some familiar faces and some newcomers, if you will, in more ways than one. As always, a huge thanks to our friends at Disney Studios Canada for helping to set up these interviews and getting us in there. I was fortunate enough to talk with Brad Rao, supervising director and executive producer, and Jennifer Corbett, who's the head writer and executive producer as well. I actually was fortunate enough to talk to them last year as well for the launch of Bad Batch Season 2. So this felt very much like a continuation. I was able to get in a little bit more because we are at Season 3, which we found out, obviously, at Celebration back in April of 2023 is going to be the last season. So there was a lot to talk about. But that's who I talked to. Meg, you actually got to do your first interview.
I did.
And why don't you tell the listeners who you were able to talk with?
Absolutely. Well, last year, Nate got the opportunity to talk to D. Bradley Baker, who is the voice of every single clone in the animated series. But I got to talk with Nate as well, the beautiful voice of little baby Omega. We got to talk to Michelle Ang, which was amazing. She's so cool, so Kiwi, and I just love her so much.
Yeah, no, these are a great set of interviews. Again, like you said, last year we were fortunate enough to talk to Dee Bradley. We were trying to get Michelle on that list, unfortunately, based on timing and just logistics, it didn't happen. So I'm so grateful that we're able to have her on the podcast and to have you doing an interview with Nate. It's absolutely fantastic. But without further ado, here are interviews with Brad Rao and Jennifer Corbett, as well as Michelle Ang from Star Wars: The Bad Batch Season 3. Enjoy. Hey, Brad. Hey, Jennifer. How are you both doing today?
Great. Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's kind of surreal because I spoke to you last year at the beginning of the press for Season 2. So I'm very humbled to be able to continue the conversation as we get into Season 3. Congratulations as well for getting here, Season 3, the final season, as well as being labeled, I believe, by Saturn Awards as the best animated series for Season 2. Congratulations. Well deserved.
Thanks
how does it feel to be here at the end of this?
Very bittersweet, because we've been living with this final season for a while, and we're just excited for everybody to see what's in store. And the show has meant so much to us that, it's been a great journey.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think bittersweet is the exact sentiment. Since Season 1, we've been doing weekly episode discussions with every episode. So, this season thus far, from what we've seen, is going to deliver some great storytelling. Now, Brad, I imagine it was quite a ballet, if you will, working on Season 2 and Season 3. I feel like logistically they were kind of back to back. I didn't know it at the time, but now I'm imagining that there was some overlap. Was there any challenges that came up during that process?
Yeah, it's a great question. There was, for Jen and me both, we're honored to be here on behalf of our crew, but it's literally hundreds of people working on various aspects of the episode. So yeah, there was a point in time where we realized we were working on almost 24 episodes in one day. Jen and I was like meet from morning till night, going through every little bit, whether it's, a script all the way to being in a mix for an episode and everything in between, the way that the schedule stacks, yeah, you just work on a little bit of everything. So yeah, that when that went through the end of season 2 into season 3, very challenging as season 3 becomes more serialized and more of a connected story, that there's an advantage to being able to keep things going, make sure that we're not making any mistakes, but it's also really tricky to balance all those plates.
Yeah, I can only imagine to the amount of effort that goes into doing that many episodes. And the idea that obviously at the time when I talked to you guys at the beginning of season 2, there was no word of season 3, but you guys were obviously working on it behind the scenes. So it must again been just such a balance of trying to focus on getting those episodes out while also working forward. Was it always intended to be 3 seasons? Was that always this sort of overarching idea of this series?
That was our hope. Of course, we weren't sure if we would be able to get that 100%, but we are lucky enough that Lucasfilm and Disney Plus have been very supportive of the show, and yeah, we're so glad we got to end it the way we wanted to end it, and really had time to make the final season what it is.
Yeah, I think fans will always appreciate a series that knows its ending, that knows where it's going,
Right.
versus a series that might just kind of fill in the gaps to get there eventually. So I definitely appreciate knowing that that was over. The overarching theme was to get it to a 3rd season. Jen, you're the writer of this story as well as an executive producer. You have had your hands in all 3 seasons. We've got themes from the Bad Batch that deal with identity, loyalty, family, purpose. But then on top of that, we have this overarching story that's really being explored with Tantis, Hemlock, cloning in general. How much of that was built into sort of the like season 1 and carried forward? Because it seems like it's obviously very integral as we get into season 3.
Well, cloning's been a part of the whole series.
Mhm.
It feels like it's a nice um, bookend, because we start with Camino and now we're ending with Tantus, and it's just been a part of the clone journey, is the fact that this is what's going on. It was happening with the Republic, and now how the Empire has changed things and how they're using it to their advantage. So in terms of the Tantus and what's going on there, that came more to be towards the end of season 1 when we teased it, and then obviously we had more in season 2, but really during season 3, Tantus is like a character on the show, because it's again what's going on there. I know people are curious about, and we will be answering some questions.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you're not going to be able to answer it all, but I know us here at Geekcentric, we got our own theories. There's a lot of explanation there. We think it's going to justify somehow Palpatine returned, and we feel like it's feeding into that. But I digress. I won't get into any more of that. Again, there's been such a strength of family and loyalty and purpose that comes from this story that's so honed in on the Bad Batch. For both of you, is there any one of these clones that you feel like you can relate to?
I mean, yeah, I mean, the weird sounds lame, but true answer is all of them a little
Yeah, I
bit,
figured. Yeah.
And it's like there's times when we're talking about a story and it's funny, Jen, you'll have a point of view of a character, and I'll have a point of view of another character, and that's actually really helpful for the creative process. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like a lame answer, but all of them.
No, I get it. I would say the same.
Yeah, I concur. A little bit of each.
Well, especially given the fact of how much you've invested in creating these characters, I imagine there's a little bit of each character that kind of you can connect with. I know for myself that would be the answer that I would go with. We are here at the final season with the conclusion of the Bad Batch. What aspects of the series are you guys most proud of? And also with that, what do you hope fans will take away from this final season? Jen, why don't we start with you?
Oh, I think I'm just most proud of the relationships between the group and the whole squad, and just the message that through the ups, through the downs, through the mistakes that people make, you're able to find forgiveness and move on and make amends, and I think that's important in life. And again, I know we're telling a fictional story, but it's the stories I hope resonate with people. And yeah, that's what I'm most proud of. But then also, I just working with this entire team, the animation team, because they care so much about what we're doing and give 110% to the show. So.
Yeah. Brad, how about for yourself?
Oh, that's gonna be hard to top, Jen, because
Yeah.
that's I mean, I feel the same way, really. It's yeah, characters, what even though they're family, they're also different, and overcoming differences to come to a common good, to do good, is such a worthy story. I'm very proud we've been able to tell that story in the show. And same behind the scenes, we're like some weird Bad Batch, all of us working
Yeah.
together, putting our heart and soul into these characters. It's been really bittersweet for the entire cast and crew when we had our final recording session as we're like wrapping up the show. It's we all, there's been a lot of tears and a lot of eyes. And I'll say one last thing, just so it's not exactly a ripoff of what you're saying, Jen, but the action is something we talk about a lot, although not the most important thing. To be able to continually top our action set pieces, and everybody has a different opinion, but as season 3 moves on, some of the craziest, most epic action set pieces we've ever done, you will see. They're really cool.
Well, I'm excited. I've only seen the first 8 episodes, but my God, I am hooked. I am ready for more. Jennifer, Brad, thank you so much for taking the time again to join us on the Geekcentric podcast to talk about this outstanding series. I know I can speak for all of us here where I say we are just such big fans of this story. It is bittersweet to see it end, but I'm very excited to see what you both do next within the Lucasfilm family, because I'm sure it's going to be great. Hope you both have a fantastic day.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Michelle, my name's Nate.
And I'm Megan. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today on the Geekcentric podcast. How are you doing?
Hi guys, I'm good. I'm having great fun today chatting to lots of people.
Well, we're stoked to talk to you. We both love Omega so much and have grown to love her so much over these 3 seasons. And in these 3 seasons, are there aspects of Omega that maybe you've brought from yourself? And then is there anything maybe that she's given back to you?
Yes, there is, I think I was incredibly grateful and lucky to be able to be a cast, but be also inhabit my own natural accent, which is a New Zealand accent. And, I was sharing with another journalist, like there is a cultural specificity to how New Zealanders emotionally, like face emotional situations. I like to think of it as like an aggressive casualness, which might seem inappropriate with the sagas that unfold in Star Wars, but I do think that is something that I've sort of offered up, and Brad, our director, has at times accepted, and it gives Omega this really interesting quality of childlike sort of naivete in the face of, something very, very big and super consequential, but she can still be like, well, yeah, of course we should do that.
Save everyone.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of fun, and I think that kind of specific emotional response sort of like is a bit of a unusual thing, and so I think fans probably enjoy that. As to what Omega's given me, I guess it's camaraderie and this sense of feeling connected to people, some of who you might not even have met. Like Omega cares obviously about her Clone Force 99 brothers, but especially in season 3, this connection to like clones at large and making sure that, they're not being taken advantage of. And, I mean, I'd like to think I'm a good human and aware of that too, but on a smaller sort of sphere for myself, just amazed at all the people it takes to create something like the Bad Batch, like people we don't see that maybe journalists don't get to talk to, like the composers and the incredible team of visual artists, and Brad, who's directing all these pieces, and our beautiful PR team. And then having that sort of multiply and touching so many people like yourselves. I've been to celebrations. I went to London last year and just was blown away that people from all around the European continent predominantly, but had come together and found camaraderie with each other despite, being strangers essentially. That has been really eye-opening for me.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Yeah, it sounds like you share a lot of her compassion that she's sort of developed.
Oh,
And she's Yeah, she's grown over these 3 seasons, and with this being the final season of the series, what's it like saying goodbye to this cast and your Bad Batch brothers?
It's so sad. Like it's really bittersweet. I remember clearly when we were told, yes, we're going to get a third season because nothing is ever taken for granted. The fact that we got to make it at all is awesome. And we had our fingers crossed, obviously. So it was like, yes, third season, but it will be the final. So it was like,
Oh,
okay. And then, as you can imagine, opening the script for the final episode, there was a real moment. Sometimes I'm on the go and having to multitask, but there was a reverence when I opened this final last script to be like, okay, here we go. And I think that was reflective of the entire team and our process of recording it as well. There was a lot more solemnness around it, and we got to do it in person in LA because a lot of the time we're all kind of in remote places. Um, but yeah. I mean, I have hope that the story could have larger repercussions. I have a desire and a wish for Filoni to throw me in the ring of live action, which is my first and foremost kind of working space. But I think that everyone will be very satisfied. Things will end as they should in season 3. It's a very satisfying ending.
Oh, that's so great to hear. For a more fun question, every clone comes with a CT number, but they all give themselves their own little nicknames to be individual. Michelle, if you were a clone, what would your nickname be?
As Michelle?
Yeah.
Oh, um,
Well, to
oh my
give you an
God.
example, just to help, I'm an illustrator, so I call myself Brushstroke.
And I like Hugs, so I would just call myself Hugs.
Oh, cool. No, I can only think of negative things. That's so bad, eh? I'm like neurotic. That's not a very cool name. Uh, um, oh my God, honestly, like when you get an idea and it's stuck in your head, that's like me right now. It's like thinker, like someone who overthinks.
I love it. I love it.
How would I turn that into a name? That sounds very lame.
Oh, Pinky, move, go, go, go. Something like that. It works. I think it works.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, Pinky, Michelle, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Thanks, guys.
We love Omega so much, and we can't wait to see her grow emotionally and physically in this next season, or in this final season. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys for watching, and thanks for your fun questions.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yes.
And that is it. That is our interviews. Meg, great job. Obviously,
Oh,
first
thanks.
time. You were very relaxed. I know you were a little nervous ahead of time. Was there a highlight for you?
Yeah, I mean, I not only is she probably the easiest person to do an interview with as my first interview, she was so laid back, so chill. She answered the questions incredibly well. And I think a highlight for me was a question that I came up with and was excited to ask her. We all have our own Bad Batch nicknames. So
Yes.
I asked her what hers was, and her response was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that the idea of being called an overthinker or thinky is
Yeah.
pretty awesome. I did like the name Neurotic. I thought the name Neurotic
Yeah.
might work for a clone somewhere. Maybe not for
1,000%.
not for Michelle, but yeah, no, this was great. It was so awesome to just chat with them again. This is our last time. This is they've dubbed this as the finale for the Bad Batch. So you get the overarching sentiments from both interviews here.
Yeah.
That it was hard. It was bittersweet being able to tell the story that they wanted to tell in the way they wanted to tell it, but also just having to say goodbye to these characters. But I did really enjoy hearing that she hopes Filoni decides to throw her into the live action, because she did do live action. It was really great. But
I'm crossing my fingers. I mean, she doesn't look a whole lot like Omega, but I think
sure.
with the right wigs,
The
Star Wars
right
can afford
wigs
wigs,
and-
right?
yeah, for sure. And I think they could do something, but again, leave it in the hands of Filoni, who's now
He knows what's going on.
creative oversight over all of this stuff. We'll
Yep.
see what happens. But that is it for our special Behind the Geeks for Star Wars: The Bad Batch Season 3. If you actually want to watch these interviews and actually see the facial reactions from Brad and Jennifer as we talk about saying goodbye to these characters, what they meant to them, and just to see the glowing smile from Michelle and Megan, well, you can do so by heading over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/geekcentric. Both of those interviews, just the interviews, are available for you to watch. I will have links in the show notes. But we got more Bad Batch coming, like our spoiler-free review, which will be dropping tomorrow, February 21st, where we actually discuss the first 8 episodes, spoiler-free, very overarching. So don't worry. We're not going to spoil anything. We're just going to give our impressions. But we are kicking off yet again our third and final watch club for the Bad Batch Season 3. It's going to be a bit different. As I mentioned, we did see the first 8 episodes, so our strategy is looking a little different this time around. But also it looks like their release strategy has adapted to accommodate pairing specific episodes, like you'll be getting the first 3 episodes on the premiere date of February 21st. So we're going to kind of try to match some of that while also keeping in mind what we've seen and what we can speculate on. So a lot to look forward to. We are back. We have been away for a little while, went to Disney. There's more to talk about that. But we're so excited to be back. And we're so excited to be talking about the batches. Star Wars is animation is back in full swing. So stay tuned for all of that. Be sure to subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you want to write into the show, let us know what you thought of those interviews. Well, you can reach us at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. Or you can hit us up on X. I'm giving in. I'm calling it X now.
Oh, you're calling it.
It's it's the app formerly known as Twitter. You can reach us there at Geekcentric YT or on Instagram at wearegeekcentric. But until next time, as we say,
Bye.
peace.